Hello everybody, and welcome back down into my dungeon garden for another sort of a weekly update as I wait out the arrival of summer. 7 weeks or so to go. June 1st is when I can finally plant things outside. So I think what's really driving me nuts here is that the vast majority of my gardening history has been done somewhere where as soon as like official calendar spring starts, I can start putting stuff in the ground, the garden center's open, and basically for a Canadian, I was quite spoiled in my previous gardening environment. And so, we find ourselves down here in a dingy sort of basement dungeon, pretending I can garden. So, on that note, let's take a look at how things are coming along, and yeah, maybe we'll take a run outside. I definitely want to take a check upstairs today too, so yeah, let's get on it. Lots to see. Under the fluorescent light and the hydroponics and on the hydroponics, you can see things are doing rather well. I mean, I've got some death on the bottom of this tomato here that I need to come in with some scissors and clean up. It's not looking terribly pretty, but the rest of the tomato looks pretty happy. Came down here yesterday and noticed this, and I'm thinking, yeah, I really need to lift that light up just a little bit more. Oh, as the furnace kicks in. But as we look in really closely here, that looks like the very beginning of flowers on this tomato. So I might actually get some indoor tomatoes out of this. That is really super exciting to me. I kind of wasn't expecting it to work. I don't know why I have such little faith in this hydroponic garden. It's certainly served me very well so far, but probably because it's my first time really messing with proper hydroponics as compared to aquaponics. But let's take a look at some of these individual pepper varieties that I've got here. Some of them have some really nice root growth going on them. Some of them are starting to produce lots of flowers as well. This is the Antohi, A-N-T-O-H-I, Antohi. Google Translate says it's Antohi, but can you really trust Google, But anyway, point is, it's a nice sweeter variety of pepper apparently, and it's got lots of little flower nubs starting up on it. Up here we've got the Chinese 5 colors, some flower starts on there as well. Back here, unfortunately, it's got a lot of aphids on it at the moment, but there are ladybugs working that situation. This is the biggest, best, and brightest of the billy goat peppers. Again, you can see, if you look at it, there are flower starts. I mean, they're under siege, but they're in there. So, that is particularly exciting. What else do we have with flowers on it here? We've got some crimson reds with a ladybug on it. Work it, ladybug. These guys both have flower starts on them, so that's really exciting to me. So yeah, there are quite a few things that are starting to get a little more productive, we'll say. A little more productive down here. That said, let's take a look at the roots on some of these in these double cups. This, as I said, is the billy goat. Just need to drop that lower cup somewhere. Drop it there for now. What do we got? Just a little bit of root growth going on in the second cup. Not a lot. Kind of expect more for a plant with such a robust top. Let's take a look at maybe these yellow ghosts over here beside it. This one here looks to me like it's a beautiful start. So again, I'm thinking it's probably got some nice roots underneath it. Oh, it's got some coming through. One of these days we're going to have to take a bit of a time to discuss this whole double cup system and where I was screwing up in the beginning as compared to where things are going better now. But yeah, that'll be a project for another video. Here we've got some very nice looking roots on 7-pot brain strain yellow. Kind of looked at the numbers on that. That's scaring me a little bit for when it gets ripe, but that's half the fun of being a chili head, isn't it? Is being a little bit terrified by the food that you're trying to grow. It's a little bit crazy sometimes. The reapers in the back corner are starting to do well. I'm not going to bother pulling them up for root growth yet because they're just not exceptionally large looking peppers yet. But pan away over here, there's another couple of those crimson red peppers. These are the ones in the cracky chicken bucket. And There we go. It's not showing up terribly well on the camera, but I've got a nice little flower in there. Kind of squeezed that together the other day, hoping to pollinate it. But yeah, it's not like I got a lot of bees working it down here, so gotta do it by hand. You know what, I think before we carry on any further, I'm going to lift that light, give the tomato a little bit more room to grow. Taking it farther away from these peppers than I'd like, but you gotta do what you gotta do. One sec. Well, that looks a little crazy. Definitely say the biggest issue that I seem to be having with these indoor plants is just that everything seems so weak. I can probably get a fan going in here and get a little more strength to it that way, but I think just the lack of genuine sunshine is making the difference here that I'm noticing and kind of being driven a little bit nuts by. Down at the bottom of that tomato though, we've got these raggedy looking cucumber plants. Produced a whole bunch of flowers for me, but again, without any sort of indoor pollinators, I just don't know what all is going to come of that. So waiting is, we'll see. I might get cucumbers, I might not. I am mighty glad to see these ladybugs hard at work in here though. Let's go and take a look over at the starts underneath the LED strip lights. For the most part, these are all looking pretty good. I did have to take a couple out, like that larger billy goat, as it was too tall. It wasn't really fitting under the lights anymore. So all in all though, I'm still pretty impressed. I've had a couple of moments where the strip has come unglued there, but I can usually just press it back up. The biggest issue I've had with ungluing is the initial strip, but I think that has something to do with the weight of the plug, and I kind of had it below the PVC pipes first, so that added some extra weight, and I just haven't been able to get that initial bit to stay attached. Doesn't seem to be a problem for the actual functionality of the lights though, and the pepper plants sure don't seem to mind, so that's excellent. It's one of those little primo peppers that's coming along nicely. It's the Naga Black behind it right there, coming along very nicely. Very excited to get some of these outside. Still haven't quite decided who's going to go, who's going to stay. Well, those eggplants are all going outside. Look at that. That's just coming along so nicely. Much better than last year. Very excited, very excited. These tomatoes in the middle area here, kind of pale, but this is, as I've mentioned several times before, not directly under a light. Like here we've got these ones directly under, these are directly under. These are directly under. This is just kind of in the middle of it all, hoping for the best. So I'm sure these will do better once they get outside. Still kind of checking around the yard, looking for places that are sunny and shady and sunny and shady and not going to burn things up when I go to work. But that will all work itself out in time too, I'm sure. Up in these styrofoam cups here, I've got, oh, I don't know, probably like 50 kale seeds in there, because I'm not at all against the idea of 2 or 3 nice long rows of kale. And the other day, Shocks opened up a tomato that had already sprouted inside of it, so we put a slice from that into there. We'll see how it does. It was a nice compact little mater. Very excited about the possibility there. Some of these peppers on the top shelf and some of these eggplants on the top shelf are all looking just fabulous. Oh, we got another ladybug here. Work it, little buddy. It's one of the weary peppers. I am in love with these leaves. I just think they're beautiful little pepper plants. The other one over here is very similar. A little bit of, we'll call it mutation, I don't know. Variance in the leaf on this one here. Probably got attacked by something when it was younger, but still struggling and surviving through. So that's excellent. We got the chocolate moruga back here. A little scared, a little excited. Peppers from that are supposedly quite hot. Another billy goat pepper beside it here. These are doing very well. It's got a very similar leaf to the weary. This MOA Scotch bonnet. Very, very happy with that. I've got one of these on the lower shelf too that's also doing fairly well. Oh, I should point this one out. This is one of the chocolate habs that RevToast TV sent me a couple years back. Didn't get any growing last year because they all got taken down in the aphid wars, but this looks like it's gonna make it, so thank you, Mr. Rev. Well, thank you to all of you, really. So many of you have sent me these wonderful varieties of peppers. I did a count the other day. I've got 37 different varieties of peppers on the grow right now. So clearly I've got a lot more to go if I want to have one of each going. But I think that might just be a little bit crazy at this point, and something I'll have to save for future years. Let's go and check out what's growing on upstairs in the studio, because I want to show you the surviving overwintered purple freak I've got up there, because it's going gangbusters. So yeah, let's go take a look at that. First off, we've got the sand dollar here. Wow, is that thing just going crazy or what? So excited, and so very glad to see ladybugs still in residency here too. Let's take a look at that freak over there though. So taking a look at the purple freak survivor here, it is just absolutely loaded with pepper flowers and what we lovingly refer to as pepper bums. Just a little bit of a start here and a little bit of a start there, and they're all over the place on here, so I'm very excited, hoping to see some color on that real soon. These start off purple when they're outside and end up a nice bright red, so here's to hope that's what'll happen inside. Yeah. And speaking of outside, we'll probably take a look at that next week. I've got a lot of yard work that I want to get done. Still a little bit of snow that needs to melt before I can get too much done out there. But probably going to go do some raking today. Yes! Celebrate those little things. When it melts enough, you can rake up the mess. Yeah, that's a good start. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of that in addition to other random stuff over the course of the week. So, hopefully, hopefully, next week, we will be able to take a look at the actual gardens outside, and maybe, just maybe, I'll finally get that garlic planted. And seed potatoes are in town, so I'll have to ask some of the local gardeners if it's too early to plant them or if I need to get them in now or what. But that's one of the best tips you can ever get about gardening, is ask the people that are already growing in the area what's appropriate for when. Either they're going to mess with you to laugh at you, or they're going to tell you the truth. Either way, it's an educational experience. Alright, and on that note, I will see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.